A high-value woman understands something very powerful. The way she speaks reflects the way she values herself. She doesn't shout, beg, or chase validation. Instead, she speaks with clarity, confidence, and self-respect. When a woman knows her worth, her words become strong without being disrespectful, calm without being weak. First, a high-value woman speaks with confidence. She doesn't second-guess her voice. When she says what she wants, she says it clearly. She doesn't hide behind fear of rejection. If she expects honesty, respect, or commitment, she says it directly. Men respect clarity. When a woman communicates confidently, it shows she knows exactly who she is and what she deserves. Second, she speaks with calm energy. High-value women don't lose control of their emotions during disagreements. They understand that yelling rarely solves anything. Instead of reacting with anger, they respond with composure. Calm communication shows emotional intelligence. It tells a man that she is mature and strong enough to control her feelings even in difficult moments. Third, a high-value woman speaks with boundaries. She doesn't tolerate disrespect, and she makes that very clear. If a man crosses a line, she doesn't argue endlessly. She simply states her boundary and stands by it. Her words might be simple. I don't accept that kind of behavior. A man quickly learns that respect is not optional when dealing with her. Fourth, she speaks with honesty. High-value women do not play games or manipulate situations. They say what they mean and mean what they say. This honesty builds trust. When a man knows that a woman communicates openly and sincerely, it creates a stronger and healthier connection. Fifth, she speaks with self-respect. She never begs a man to stay, love her, or value her. A high-value woman understands that love should be given freely, not forced. If someone cannot appreciate her, she walks away with dignity. Her words reflect independence, not desperation. Finally, a high-value woman speaks with purpose. She isn't just talking to fill silence. Her conversations build understanding, connection, and direction. She communicates about goals, values, and the future. She wants a relationship that grows, not one that wastes time. Confidence is one of the first things a high-value woman shows when she speaks to a man. It is not loud. It is not aggressive, and it is not about trying to dominate the conversation. Real confidence is calm, steady, and clear. A woman who truly values herself understands that her voice matters, and because of that, she does not shrink her words to make someone else comfortable. When she speaks with certainty about who she is, what she wants, and what she deserves in a relationship. This kind of communication creates a very different energy between a man and a woman. Many people misunderstand confidence and think it means being harsh or confrontational, but that is not the case. Confidence is simply the ability to express your thoughts honestly without fear of being rejected or judged. A high-value woman does not sit silently hoping that a man will magically understand what she needs. Instead, she communicates directly. If she wants respect, she says it. If she values honesty, she expresses that expectation. When she talks, her words are simple but powerful because they come from a place of self-respect. This type of communication immediately changes how a man sees her. When a woman hesitates, apologizes for everything, or constantly doubts herself, it can send the message that she is unsure of her own worth. But when a woman speaks with calm confidence, it shows that she knows her value. She does not need constant approval to feel secure. Her confidence makes it clear that she chooses to be in a relationship, not because she needs validation, but because she genuinely wants connection and partnership. A confident woman is also not afraid of difficult conversations. Many people avoid serious topics because they fear conflict or rejection. However, a high-value woman understands that real relationships require honesty and openness. If something bothers her, she does not hide it behind silence or passive behavior. She expresses her feelings clearly and respectfully. Instead of attacking or blaming, she explains what she feels and what she expects moving forward. This clarity actually creates respect. Men often respond better to clear communication than to mixed signals. When a woman speaks confidently, she removes confusion. There's no guessing game about where she stands. She is transparent about her expectations, her boundaries, and her values. This saves time and emotional energy for both people involved. It also helps build a stronger foundation because the relationship is based on truth rather than assumptions. Confidence also means not being afraid of a man's reaction. A high-value woman understands that not everyone will agree with her or accept her standards, and that is okay. Her goal is not to please everyone. Her goal is to remain true to herself. If a man respects her honesty and values her presence, the connection will grow stronger. If he cannot handle her clarity or confidence, then he simply is not the right person for her life. Another important part of confident communication is tone. A high-value woman does not need to raise her voice to be heard. Her calm tone carries authority because it reflects emotional stability. She knows that shouting or reacting emotionally often weakens the message. Instead, she stays composed and speaks with steady assurance. This kind of communication often makes people listen more carefully because it carries quiet strength. Confidence in conversation also reflects confidence in life. When a woman believes in her abilities, her goals, and her future, it shows in the way she interacts with others. She asks thoughtful questions, shares her opinions openly, and participates in conversation without fear of judgment. She does not try to appear perfect. She simply presents herself authentically. This authenticity is very powerful. When a woman speaks confidently without pretending to be someone she is not, it creates trust. A man can sense that she is genuine, and that honesty often encourages him to be more open as well. Instead of playing roles or wearing masks, both people can communicate as their true selves. Over time, this type of confident communication builds stronger relationships. It reduces misunderstandings, encourages respect, and creates emotional safety. A high-value woman understands that her voice is one of her greatest strengths. By speaking clearly, calmly, and confidently, she shows the world exactly how she expects to be treated. Calm energy is one of the most powerful ways a high-value woman communicates with a man. It is easy for people to react emotionally when they feel hurt, misunderstood, or disrespected. Many relationships struggle, not because of the problem itself, but because of how the people involved react to the problem. A high-value woman understands this very well. She knows that losing control of her emotions during difficult moments often makes the situation worse instead of better. That is why she chooses calm communication over emotional reactions. Being calm does not mean that she has no feelings. In fact, she may feel deeply about what is happening. The difference is that she does not allow those emotions to control her behavior. She understands that reacting in anger or frustration can cause words to come out that cannot be taken back. Instead of speaking in the heat of the moment, she takes a step back, gathers her thoughts, and communicates in a steady and thoughtful way. When a woman maintains calm energy, it immediately changes the tone of a conversation. Arguments often grow when both people are reacting emotionally at the same time. One person raises their voice, the other responds with even more anger, and suddenly the conversation turns into a battle rather than a solution. A high-value woman refuses to participate in that kind of cycle. She keeps her voice steady and her words clear, which often forces the conversation to slow down and become more productive. Calm communication also shows emotional maturity. It tells a man that she is capable of handling challenges without creating unnecessary drama. Many people mistake loud reactions for strength, but real strength is the ability to stay composed when situations become tense. When a woman can control her reactions and speak calmly even when she feels upset, it shows that she has emotional intelligence and self-discipline. This kind of behavior earns respect over time. When a man realizes that a woman does not react with chaos or emotional outbursts, he begins to see her as someone stable and trustworthy. Her calm presence creates an environment where real conversations can happen. Instead of feeling attacked, he may feel more comfortable listening and understanding her point of view. Another important aspect of calm energy is the ability to pause before speaking. Many arguments happen because people respond immediately without thinking about their words. A high-value woman understands the power of silence. Sometimes she listens first, processes what has been said, and then responds carefully. This pause allows her to choose words that express her feelings without escalating the situation. Calm communication also helps a woman protect her own peace. Constant emotional reactions can drain energy and create stress. By staying calm, she protects her mental and emotional balance. She refuses to let someone else's behavior control her state of mind. Hurry. Instead, she keeps her focus on clarity, respect, and resolution. It is also important to understand that calm energy does not mean accepting disrespect. A high-value woman can still express disappointment or disagreement, but she does it in a controlled and thoughtful way. She might say that something hurt her or explain why a certain action is unacceptable, but she communicates it without insults, shouting, or emotional chaos. Her calm tone makes her message stronger because it shows that she is speaking from strength rather than from uncontrolled emotion. Over time, this approach often encourages better behavior from others. When someone realizes that emotional manipulation or arguments will not trigger a dramatic reaction, they may begin to communicate more respectfully. Calm communication can set a standard for how conversations should happen within the relationship. People are naturally drawn to calm and stable individuals. A woman who carries herself with peaceful energy often becomes someone others feel comfortable around. Her words feel thoughtful, her reactions feel balanced, and her presence feels safe. This does not mean she is passive or weak. On the contrary, it takes a great deal of inner strength to stay calm when emotions are high. In relationships, this calm energy creates space for understanding and growth. Instead of conversations becoming battles, they become opportunities to solve problems and learn about each other. A high-value woman understands that her peace is valuable. By choosing calm communication, she protects that peace and builds stronger, healthier connections with the people around her. One of the clearest ways a high-value woman communicates with a man is through boundaries. Boundaries are not about controlling someone else's behavior. They are about clearly defining what she will and will not accept in her life. A woman who understands her value knows that respect, honesty, and consideration are not optional. Because of that, when she speaks to a man, her words naturally reflect the standards she has set for herself. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear losing someone they care about. They stay silent when something feels wrong, hoping the problem will fix itself. A high-value woman does not operate that way. She understands that silence often invites repeated behavior. If something makes her uncomfortable or crosses a line, she addresses it directly. Her communication is clear and firm, but it is also respectful. She does not insult or attack. She simply explains what behavior is not acceptable to her. This type of communication can be powerful because it removes confusion. Instead of sending mixed signals, she speaks plainly about what she expects in a relationship. For example, if a man repeatedly cancels plans without explanation, she may calmly express that her time is valuable and she expects reliability. By stating this clearly, she gives the other person the opportunity to correct the behavior. At the same time, she shows that she respects herself enough not to tolerate patterns of disrespect. Boundaries also protect emotional well-being. When a person constantly ignores their own limits, they often end up feeling resentful or exhausted. A high-value woman understands that protecting her peace is important. When she communicates her boundaries, she is not trying to punish someone. She is simply making sure that her emotional health remains intact. Her words reflect a balance between kindness and strength. Another important part of boundaries is consistency. It is not enough to say what you expect if your actions do not match your words. A high-value woman understands that people take boundaries seriously when they see that those boundaries are real. If she says that a certain behavior is unacceptable, she stands by that statement. She does not repeatedly excuse or ignore the same problem. This consistency teaches others how they should treat her. When a woman communicates boundaries clearly, it also helps build respect in the relationship. Many people actually appreciate knowing where the limits are because it creates clarity. Instead of guessing what might upset someone, they understand the expectations. This can lead to healthier communication and fewer misunderstandings over time. Boundaries also show emotional independence. A high-value woman does not depend on a man's approval to feel secure. Because she is confident in herself, she is willing to speak up when something does not align with her values. She understands that a relationship should enhance her life, not diminish it. When she communicates this through her words and actions, it sends a strong message about how she expects to be treated. It is also important to understand that setting boundaries does not mean being harsh or cold. A woman can express her limits with calmness and respect. The strength of her message does not come from anger. It comes from clarity. When she speaks, her tone remains steady and her words remain thoughtful. This approach often prevents the conversation from turning into an argument. Instead, it keeps the focus on understanding and improvement. Over time, a woman who communicates with strong boundaries creates a different kind of dynamic in her relationships. People learn that she values herself and her time. They recognize that disrespectful behavior will not be ignored or tolerated. Because of this, the connections she forms are often built on mutual respect rather than convenience or manipulation. Boundaries are also a reflection of self-awareness. A high-value woman has taken the time to understand what matters most to her. She knows the type of treatment she deserves and the kind of environment she wants in her life. When she speaks to a man, that understanding naturally shapes her communication. Her words are not defensive or desperate. Instead, they are confident and grounded in her sense of self. Through clear boundaries, she creates relationships that are healthier and more balanced. Her communication encourages honesty, accountability, and respect from both sides. In this way, her words do more than express her thoughts. They define the standards that guide the relationship and ensure that it grows in a way that honors her value and her peace. Honesty is one of the most powerful ways a high-value woman communicates with a man. She does not rely on manipulation, mind games, or indirect hints to express what she feels. Instead, she believes that genuine communication builds stronger connections and prevents unnecessary confusion. When she speaks, her words reflect truth and sincerity. And this creates a level of clarity that many relationships lack. In many situations, people avoid honesty because they are afraid of hurting someone's feelings or creating conflict. However, avoiding the truth often causes more damage in the long run. A high-value woman understands that honesty, when delivered with respect and care, actually strengthens relationships. It allows both people to understand each other better and make decisions based on reality rather than assumptions. When she communicates honestly, she does not hide her feelings or pretend that everything is fine when it is not. If something makes her happy, she expresses appreciation openly. If something bothers her, she addresses it directly rather than holding resentment inside. This openness prevents emotions from building up over time and turning into larger problems later. Honest communication also removes the need for guessing games. In many relationships, one person expects the other to just know what they want or how they feel. This expectation often leads to misunderstandings and frustration. A high-value woman does not expect a man to read her mind. She communicates clearly about her expectations, her concerns, and her desires. By doing this, she creates an environment where both people can respond thoughtfully rather than trying to interpret hidden signals. Another important aspect of honesty is authenticity. A high-value woman does not pretend to be someone she is not in order to impress a man. She understands that pretending might attract attention temporarily, but it cannot build a genuine relationship. Instead, she shows her real personality, her real opinions, and her real values. When she speaks, she allows her true self to be seen and heard. This authenticity often encourages the other person to be more open as well. When someone senses that a conversation is honest and sincere, they feel safer sharing their own thoughts. Over time, this mutual openness builds trust, which is one of the most important foundations of any healthy relationship. Honesty also shows confidence. When a woman is comfortable expressing her true thoughts and feelings, it demonstrates that she values herself and her perspective. She does not feel the need to constantly adjust her opinions just to gain approval. Instead, she respects herself enough to stand by her beliefs while still remaining open to understanding someone else's point of view. At the same time, honest communication requires balance. A high-value woman knows that truth should be delivered with kindness. Being honest does not mean being harsh or insensitive. She chooses her words carefully so that her message is clear without being unnecessarily hurtful. This thoughtful approach allows her to express her feelings while maintaining respect for the other person. Honesty also creates accountability within a relationship. When both people communicate openly, it becomes easier to address problems and work towards solutions. Instead of hiding mistakes or avoiding responsibility, they can discuss issues directly and learn from them. A high-value woman understands that growth in a relationship often comes from honest conversations about challenges and differences. Another benefit of honest communication is emotional freedom. When someone constantly hides their true feelings, it can create internal stress and frustration. By speaking honestly, a woman releases that pressure. She does not carry the weight of unspoken thoughts or unresolved emotions. Her communication becomes a way of maintaining emotional balance and clarity in her life. Over time, honesty builds a reputation. When a man knows that a woman consistently speaks the truth, he learns that her words can be trusted. This reliability creates a deeper level of respect and security within the relationship. Instead of wondering what she truly means, he understands that her words reflect her genuine thoughts and feelings. Through honesty, a high-value woman creates relationships that are based on trust, transparency, and understanding. Her communication style does not rely on confusion or emotional manipulation. Instead, it encourages openness and mutual respect. By speaking truthfully and authentically, she allows both herself and the person she is speaking with to experience a connection that is real, balanced, and meaningful.